It means they put in a lot of hard work, and the teams recognized, how we always felt, and I think that. I mean, that's always a goal, right? I mean, I think that that's guys come to Ohio State or go to colleges wanting to accomplish that goal, and we had some guys here that did that.
It's not like this is the first group we played here, then wait to see all the way through. He's Ohio State's wide receiver deal. People are making that case. Do you make that case?
I think that tag is weird, and I don't know why people always talk about it like that. Like, you guys can talk about that, but that's not something we talk about.
Brian, did you kind of always know that you would be an excellent recruiter just from your days playing, and how you played, and then your personality? When I covered you back in the day, you were always an interesting guy to interview. Did you kind of always know that you'd be an excellent recruiter?
What is an excellent recruiter?
Somebody who lands a lot of great wide receivers.
I think that it's more important to be able to identify talent than it is to communicate the information of why we're different than others. I think that recruiting, I don't know, has a bad connotation to it. Like, I don't do anything different than just explain why Ohio State's a great university and how Ohio State can help maximize and reach their goals. Clarity of message is probably pretty important, but I think we pride ourselves more on not necessarily finding the best guys, but finding the right guys.
That ability to identify talent. I think you guys found Jackson for the world, kind of found out about him. Dave kind of found Pearson for the world, found out about him. When those guys are, I don't want to say late bloomerish, but early on in the process when you're identifying talent, are there traits that you see when you're watching guys on film, or when you get guys here for the day camps in the summer that you like, even if the rest of it isn't necessarily developed yet?
I'd say it's not a perfect science. There's probably some gut. I mean, Mark Pantoni's staff do a phenomenal job of watching a lot of film and having honest evals and not necessarily listening to third parties outside the building. But I would say that again, the type of kid is really, really important. I think that we spend a lot of time on that. As you can tell, I can't really hit on one certain thing. I think it's kind of an imperfect science.
What's the most important trait for a high school kid to have when he gets here for you, for what you guys want to do in this offense? Obviously, catch the ball, but is there anything like extra?
No, I wouldn't say there's any most important trait. I think if you look around the building, you see a lot of guys do a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. So you'd have to tell me what the most important trait is. And I think that the personality and the mental makeup of an athlete, and that's really, really, really important, and probably the most important.
Generally speaking, how is recruiting going in 2023 for you guys, wide receiver? I know you can't be specific, but generally speaking, how is recruiting going?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, nothing's changed. I think we've done a good job identifying the right kind of young men that would be a great addition to our team, and I think they have mutual interest.
Brian, you have a new title, I think, a promotion. Does your job change from an input standpoint, or did you always have?
I don't think it changes a whole lot. Coach Day could probably, hit on that better than I can. But I don't think a whole lot's changed.
I think the release said you'll have a bigger hand in game planning.
Yeah, Coach Dave's had a good. Coach Dave has always empowered, those around us all. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I would just lean on whatever Coach Dave says would probably be the case.
What does the NFL draft mean to the staff of the school in recruiting capital?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's always a part of the conversation, and I'm definitely not one to shy away from that conversation. I mean, these guys have a small window to try to, accomplish a goal that not many guys can accomplish. I mean, if you go through every year, and it's always fun. I kind of did it with the 2018 class and 2019 class, and obviously I focus on receivers, but there's first 5 to 10 to 15, 20 receivers. All those guys probably thought going into college, like, oh, hey, I'm going to be a first round pick. 2 or 3 of those guys actually work. So, you know, a lot of people can talk about it and say what we can do with a player like you. Actually, we just do it. So if you want to, you know, if that's something you're looking for, you know, you can be the next man up. But you know, if you want to, you know, go be the first one somewhere, I mean, that's okay too. But I think we just really pride ourselves on, we know the path, we know the recipe, we know what it takes, and if we tell you you can be one of those guys, you can be one of those guys.
So you may be more proud of development than pick.
No, what do you mean?
Once they get here, and we're going to make it whatever you lack, we'll give you.
No, it's just a proven course. I mean, it's not like, you know, we don't know what it takes. Like, it's a common goal, and it's a common path that many guys have taken with us.
Garrett Wilson, one of the first things he said in his Jets interview was that he feels like this receiving room is an NFL receiving room. What do you think that means downstairs, and what does that mean to you guys?
Yeah, I think that's, man, one, that's awesome, because that was always my goal. I think that, you know, we definitely have more family in our room than an NFL receiving room, but that's the harsh reality of sports is, you know, being able to be in a spot where, you know, peer pressure and competitiveness really maximizes the individual. You know, if I have a couple guys in my room that, you know, really can't get challenged from a peer's perspective, and I tell them to do something, and again, they're all great dudes, but there's just something different in your mind when, you know, there's really no threat of not playing. Well, what's he going to do, play this guy? Like, that's still there. It's just part of human nature. But when you have a bunch of guys that really can hold you accountable, not just the coach, I think it really maximizes the athlete's genetic potential.
Brian, what's
My general thoughts on Marvin and Emeka?
your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're great players. They're great cerebral players. I think that you know they're everything you want in a young man to be in your room. You know, I think that, you know, we really have a really great 4, 5, 6 guys in that room, and those are 2 of the guys that are a part of that group. But you know, you really can't ask for any better individuals, and they've just continued to get better and better week to week and year to year.
Who are some other guys? Last one for me. Who are some other guys that you're counting on this year? You mentioned what, 5, 6 guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, the list is pretty extensive. I mean, I think that, you know, Julian Fleming's doing a great job. I think Emeka's doing a great job. I think Marvin's doing a great job. I think James Dollar's doing a great job. You know, Cam had a good spring. I think up towards the end. You know, Xavier Johnson's done a great job. I mean, Sam Willis has done a great job. There's an extended list of guys that I feel very comfortable being on the field. And you know, obviously we'll have off-season training and we'll have fall camp and whatnot. But we got a great, solid group of guys. And I know we lost 2 great ones, but you know, I think that we have a lot of guys in our room that can fill that void plus some.
I'm sorry if this is like a dumb question. There's no other way to ask it. Obviously everybody knows what Jackson is at this point. Marvin and Emeka, they've had opportunities to flash. Just because sometimes his body's failed him over the last couple of years, we haven't necessarily gotten a chance to see what Julian is. And obviously you've talked about him at good length, and the other guys have as well. So maybe just, like, what is he as a receiver?
What is he?
Yeah, like, I know it sounds dumb.
I don't know that question.
Like, is he a speed guy? Is he a route running guy? Is he a possession receiver? Like I said, it's like a dumb way to ask the question. It's just like, what should we expect to see from him?
I don't know. Wait and see.
Brian, are you concerned at this moment as an assistant coach in major college football about the portal mixing with the NIL, and obviously they're trying to rein this in?
Yep.
How strange have things gotten in the recruiting realm, for one of another term?
Yeah, I would say, like, college football is definitely changing. And, you know, I think anytime there's change, you know, people will get disgruntled, and, you know, people will have opinions, people will think some's good, some's bad. Like, at the end of the day, it's changing. So our job and our quest is to best maximize the rules and regulations and all those things. Now, that being said, I guess is a very extensive thought, but like, guardrails are important. You know what I mean? Like you can have roads going anywhere, but without guardrails, I mean, you just never know. You know, it's supposed to minimize catastrophic issues. You know, I think that guardrails are good. I think the ability to maximize one's NIL is awesome. Like I think that I don't know. I think at the end of the day, we're in a world of speeding up the time clock, and all we're doing is we're taking great parts of the NFL model and we're throwing it into college football. And they're 18 years old. They're allowed to figure all that out. There's just a lot happening at one time.
Do you feel are you finding yourself having to not only recruit? I know that's not the word you like to use, but that's a euphemism for it. But also with the guys you have in the room, having to show them that there is a reason to stay. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, how is that manifesting itself within the room? Obviously, Jameson Williams is a great example of a guy who went somewhere else and flourished, but you might have flourished in your own room too. You know what I mean? How are you playing that as a coach, I guess?
I mean, when you have many options, it's up to the individual to decide which options are most important to them. I mean, so, like, to me, this is my take right now. I'm not saying it's the exact take, but it's kind of how I feel sometimes. Like, to me, the transfer portal is a great option. Like, to me, it's a great avenue for the right situation. I think that, again, it's not right for every situation, but I'm not so sure I've seen a transfer portal make a player. Like, that's never been the reason why a player was successful. Now, they may have played more and done more, but Justin Fields was going to be successful regardless of where he was at. Yeah. Jameson Williams is going to be successful regardless of where he finished at. That's a fact. That's how I feel. Yeah. So, in my opinion, you're able to maybe change your clock, maybe speed things up, maybe I don't know, but to me, there's still 1,500 people in the portal. They were all in college. They don't have an education anymore. So is that a fail or is that a good thing? I mean, there are going to be, and so that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, there's always two sides to everything. And I think that, I don't know, I guess there's so many different thoughts on it, right?
Yeah, but the effort you put in to attract a kid to Ohio State or to get him here and then to develop him, help develop him, and then all of a sudden see them leave. I mean, that has to leave a little bit of a void, doesn't it? Or
yeah, I mean, it's still a relationship that's being lost, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to do what's best for them. They got one shot. They got 18 to 22 years old. They got one shot to try to maximize the opportunity to probably reach a goal. Sometimes they're going to be right. Sometimes they're going to be wrong. Not everyone's going to be right. Not everyone's going to be wrong. But at the end of the day, everyone's just trying to do what's best. That's all they're trying to do. There's no ill will. There's no do you always want a guy with but let's be honest, I'm fully transparent with my guys. I always have been. I always will be. I think that's the best way to go. So, sometimes there's conversations on, what's my playing time looking like here, coach? Well, we get to have an honest conversation, and vice versa. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. I think navigating it is, again, it's an imperfect science, a way to do it. But I think as long as you stay genuine as an individual and you treat these young men and communicate with them like you would your own son, at the end of the day, good, right or wrong, it's with a clear conscience,
Yeah. One of the quickie. Is there a guy in your room who definitely made strides this spring, who caught your eye, that maybe, I don't know if people are paying attention to it now. I'm not trying to get you to forecast greatness one way or the other, but you were really pleased.
I was really impressed with Xavier Johnson. He did a really good job. He, really has embodied, all the roles he's done and the hats he's worn. And I just really think he did a great job, in every opportunity he got.
You touched on Julian Fleming as one of the guys you thought did well this spring. What did you like from him in practice? What overall did you think he did well?
I think it's just natural progression. I think he did a great job. Just a big, strong, fast athlete is just really evolving into a receiver. And he's just done a great job with that. I think that, there's always things we're going to keep enhancing. He knows where we need to enhance and get better. But, I think he's taking all the necessary steps, and I'm really pleased at where he's at.
It sounded like Ryan mentioned as far as the spring game, you guys didn't want the plan act to be smart. Was he able to do? It seems like most.
Yeah, he
most of the
just
spring
got a
then?
quad contusion in the beginning of that week, so it wasn't smart to expose that for that reason.
We've talked about development regarding Julian. Like, it seems like that's kind of the main conversation with him over his career at Ohio State. I mean, is that something that, I mean, because it seems from the outside there's a lot of pressure on him having been like a number one receiver in the class. Does that kind of sneak into his mentality at all, or what is that like to? I mean,
You have to ask him. I don't know.
I'm
Man, I
curious.
think I'm not gonna speak for Julian. So like, at the end of the day, he's really happy. He's really doing a great job, and we'll just keep staying on the path we're on.
Did you expect this development process for Julian?
I don't ever put expectations on things because like you guys do that. You guys tell people how it's supposed to go, what the path is supposed to be, but like Terry McLaurin didn't have that issue. Jackson's gonna have a different path. Chris Olave is his path. Everyone's got a common goal, but everyone's got different paths. So those guys, everyone understands that, and we're just staying on our path. And when we look up, we're gonna be really happy at the end of the day. So,
One more weird question. Were you best friends with your quarterbacks when you played here?
no,
Not at all.
no.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
I wasn't best friends with Troy Smith or Terrell Pryor or Todd Beckman. Me and Todd were decent buddies, but like we weren't best friends.
Brian, going back to those guardrails you were talking about, is there anything from the last year that you've seen regarding NIL specific that you think, all right, this needs to be guardrailed or legislated or whatever?
One more time?
So you talked about those guardrails
Yeah.
with NIL, and you need some guardrails to have a healthy foundation in place. Is there anything specific from the last year to where?
I know, I'm not smart enough to know. I just know that, there's probably ways to, I guess at the end of the day, it's not that, I'm trying to think how to say this. Like, I think there was a time at which we don't know what's legal and what's not, and I just don't know. I think there's a lot of gray out there. So all I'm saying is, like, whatever they are, I feel like they need to be guardrailed, so at least we know what's right and wrong. Like, where's right and wrong? I don't think everyone really knows. That's my take. But maybe I'm just misinformed. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe I just have my research. But if anyone tells me that guys aren't in the portal, but they're getting offered money to go to a school, like, is that? I don't understand. Is that legal? But we're openly talking about it, but there's no ramifications. So I'm just confused on all of it. So all I'm saying is there just should be guardrails. And I think NIL was created to have Outback Steakhouse and Bose headphones and people like that to reach out and let you market with young athletes, not for collectives to go out there and like buy players. I think that's what NIL was created for. I don't know that for a fact, but the generalities in life would make me think like, why can't Homage put a t-shirt with Jackson and CJ on it, right? That's what it was created for. And then I think as adults, we found ways to corrupt that. So, but I love it. I love guys being able to maximize everything, whether it be their development or their earning potential. It's awesome. I just don't know what's legal and what's not. And we're caught in a world where I think we're getting judged on the success rate, but we don't really fully know how to fully succeed legally, I think.
Because the rules change every day.
I don't know. I don't know what they are, I guess. I'm just trying to I think there's a lot of gray. I don't have a lot of clarity.